Okay, let's talk King again. The character is still, yeah, pretty much one of the most hated characters online. But I think he's hated for the wrong reason, right? Because while you have characters in the game that can do something like this to you, King has other ways to pressure you, not just in-game, but also mentally. That being said, King is still a specialist type of character. He plays a little bit different, and to do all his amazing throws, you still have lots of complicated inputs. This is also why you don't really see that many King players dominating tournaments. It's because there are characters in the game like Claudio, for example, and as long as you don't have to think too much about your own character, you can always focus much more on the opponent's character. So King players are also very subjective to autopilot a lot and also focus on their own because of the complicated inputs they have to do. But I totally get it. Like in a game like Tekken 8 where everything is super aggressive and you can kind of dealt with the pressure of other characters, and then you just say, okay, I just want to play one more match, and then you get thrown around by this guy, it can tilt someone pretty fast. Everything that I'm going to show you is probably irrelevant for people who are above blue ranks, but King is a noob stomp character, especially if you don't know anything about throw breaks, if you don't know strings. If you want to have fun playing the game, this character can destroy the fun pretty fast, because you're looking at like one throw at the wall, one giant swing at the wall, you lose like 80 HP. Then again, other characters have more combo damage than King has. Yeah, King is not a combo powerhouse, but you see this like, oh, it's only one move, and then you think the character is dealing too much damage, right? So yeah, let's get into it, and I hope you can learn something. King's back 1-2 is a countered launcher, 12 frames, that deals a lot of damage because he can end in a powerbomb instantly, but they have to hit confirm it. Yeah, the King player has to hit confirm it, and if the King player is not hit confirming it and you block it, and the King player is going through with the string, you can just punish because it's unsafe. Both attacks are high. That means you can also react to the string and then duck the second attack and then launch yourself. Same goes for King's scary down forward to 1. First hit is a mid, second is a high. So you can just duck the second hit on reaction and then of course punish with your own launcher. King players will use down forward to 1 a lot because it's simply one of their best counter hit launching tools, right? So you keep an eye out for that. Another string that's really good is King's forward to 1 because it's a heat engager, but again, first hit is a mid, second is a high, which means you can react to the string and duck the second hit and then just launch for yourself. You gotta stay on your toes though, because King players, they can actually alter the string to launch you with another mid. If King players notice that you're always ready to duck the forward to 1, they will probably try to do the other version of the string to launch you for it. Just stay on your toes. Know the strings to duck. These are the most common things you see with King players, the most common strings. And get ready to duck the second hit and then punish the King player. Now let's talk grabs. King's signature throw is the giant swing, but Namco has nerfed the damage, so as you can see, it's not dealing that much damage anymore as it did before, right? And you can still tech roll it. Yeah, so if you get hit by this, just mash any button and suddenly it's not that scary anymore, right? So when can you expect a giant swing? Well, it's simple, at the wall. King players will usually try, in a position like that, to hit a giant swing on you. So if that's your position, just be ready to break with 1. Yeah, giant swing is a 1 break. King players will usually try to hit the giant swing at the wall, because then it actually deals massive damage, yeah? There you go. So whenever the King player is with the back at the wall, be ready to break the giant swing with 1. And if you get hit by a giant swing randomly out in the open, do a tech roll. I'm still encountering players in blue ranks that are not using the tech roll when they land. It's simple. It's not anything you need to learn. When you get hit by Giant Swing, just mash any of the 4 buttons and you're gonna tech roll it and you will absorb a lot of its damage. Now let's take a look at 2 of the most damaging chain throws he has. So that would be, this is also, you can see from Wave Dash, those were 2 different breaks, right? But the arms, the animation is the same, so it's a pure guess. But if you guessed wrong, you can still see which kind of throw the king wants to go for. So let's first start with the Rolling Death Cradle. So the Rolling Death Cradle deals a lot of damage. But there's a very, very easy way to not get hit by that. Breaking King's Rolling Death Cradle is actually quite simple. Yeah, what you want to do is you want to take a look at the second grab in the chain. So that is the chicken wing face lock. If King is doing this to you, just hold 2. You can just hold number 2 and hold it from here all the way through. It's really simple. You don't have to mash the button, just hold it. Gonna press now, gonna hold it. You always break the Rolling Death Cradle. What this is doing is it forces the king player to use different chain grabs. Of course, king players, they will try to mix you up, but breaking the Rolling Death Cradle is always like the safest option. If you have no idea what the king player is doing, just prepare for breaking the Rolling Death Cradle, because if the king player has to go for other options, then, well, they deal less damage, right? And the same goes for the King's Bridge. Now with the King's Bridge, it's the other most damaging chain throw he has from the Wave Dash. And it's very, very important that you break the second throw in the chain. Because if you don't do it, the King's Bridge is guaranteed. What you want to look out for is when he holds your leg like that, right? So the King's Bridge here is now fully unbreakable. So what you want to do is, as soon as you see that King is holding your leg like this, just hold 1+2. I mean, you can see you have a lot of time, right? This is all time you have to react. Now I press, okay? If you see the king player grabbing your leg like this, just hold 1+2 and you're gonna be sure. The king player then has to go for other chain grabs and they deal less damage. Yeah, so your safest bet is always break Rolling Death Cradle with 2, just hold 2, and when you see that king holds your leg, then just hold 1+2. Because in the end, yes, if you make the right guess, you don't eat a lot of damage at all, but it's still better to guess wrong and then eat lesser damage than guess wrong and then eat the full damage from the King's Bridge, right? Now let's talk about the sprint. King has this sprint and yeah, especially in heat, it's a menace because it's armored, but there is counterplay to it. What I like to do a lot is actually, instead of just running and then throwing out the attack instantly, right, like this, what I'm doing a lot is actually I keep sprinting, right? Which means I just want to bait the opponent to do something. I want to bait them in using one of their attacks so I can absorb them and then punish them while they're in recovery. So if you see a king player using the armored sprint, what you can do is you can just jab. There you go. Because the thing is, with that sprint, the armor is only active as long as king is sprinting. So as soon as king is pressing any buttons, the armor is gone. Which means that if you use your own jab string during his sprint, he cannot press. You see? You will always interrupt the king player. You can also hit a low, of course. Lows also go through armor, we know that. And what you also can do is you can grab, because grabs beat armor. You have to take a look at the habits of the king player. If you have a king player that is always throwing out the attacks instantly, you can just get ready to block. And if you see that the king player is always sprinting for a little bit longer, that means you have more reaction time, so you can just grab them out of that, right? You can just grab them out of the sprint. Or, to play it safe, you see a king player running at you like that, just use simple jab string, right? See, it works every time. So this is how you deal with Jaguar sprint. How do you deal with the RKO? You can react to it. Yeah. The other stuff, it's harder to do so, but your best bet is always keep standing. Yeah. When king players charge at you with the Jaguar sprint, don't just duck, because then you will eat the launcher and it deals a lot of damage. Always keep stand blocking and pay attention to the arms. When king is about to use the RKO, he's gonna spread out his arms. Very, very obvious. To deal with the RKO, you always want to keep stand blocking and then just react to the RKO. There you go. It's on shuffle, yeah, so that way I don't know what he's gonna do. Yeah, so always keep stand blocking, because then you will always block the deadly mid launchers. And then you duck to the RKO. And I get it. I'm not saying it's easy. But what I'm saying is that if you keep stand blocking, it's your best bet instead of guessing or just trying to rely on luck, right? So keep calm, stay stand blocking, block all the dangerous mids he has from sprint, and then get ready to duck the RKO. And if he's doing the RKO on you, you can just launch punish yourself. Because what king players hate most is always getting launched from their throw attempts, right? I mean, I am a king player, yeah, and I always want to grab stuff. It's just one of our quirks. It's in our blood. Yeah, we play grapplers because we want to grab people. We want to throw them around. If a king player is not able to do that anymore, well, that can actually trigger a king player quite good. At least it happens to me a lot, right? When I cannot throw people, I'm getting mad. I'm like, dude, I want to throw this guy. So yeah, for that king also has, of course, very good mids. But in the end, we are playing the character to throw people around. So yeah, avoid their throws and then launch punish them for them. And that will usually also put a lot of mental pressure on the king player. And we've all been there. If you trigger it, it's harder to focus. You start to autopilot and then you lose the game. So playing a fighting game is not only like a game of skill, it's also a game of psychology, right? Psychological warfare. Anyway, I hope you were able to learn something from that little video. You know how it goes on YouTube. Like, subscribe, drop a comment. If you have any more ideas like what you can do against king, just write it in the comment section of the video. I always read all the comments, and if there's something I can reply to, I also reply to them. Until then, see you next time and have fun playing Tekken 8.